hechsher mitzvah towards an extension of, but it cannot be independent from. It has to have a dinei Torah or dinei mitzvah on what is being done. Anything else out of those boxes is back to zero. You have an argument, is it in it, not in it, what's in it, how's in it, the hechsher, you have a lot, but that's the basic formula. If that's true, what do you want to ask? In mitzvah sichlius, we know that that's like svara lomali krua. Everybody knows that it's wrong, but it doesn't have the din of Torah. It doesn't have a dinei Torah, the kedushas Torah. But so before the Torah came, so mitzvah sichlius had meaning. Once the Torah came, it's only what's in the Torah. Even the Sheva mitzvah Shebnei Noach is only that it was given on Har Sinai. And one it was not to kill. But now I say I'm not killing because it's sichlius. It's not so. You have to say the reason why a goy has to say I don't kill is because it's one of the mitzvahs that were given at Har Sinai, not to kill. It's already a new step. Once it got to the kedusha, it got to that kedusha there. You got the point. So then, the question is, how does it work? So we're supposed to do His will, make His will our will. And our job is right and wrong. So we have to know what's right and what's wrong. And then we put our emotions, and we program ourselves according to that. We have to change our inner being to what the Torah says. It has to make sense. Because down deep we hold, down deep, in the inner fibers of ourselves, it should ring true. It has to ring true in the inner fibers of our whole being if we're living a Kedusha life and we have the Das Chacham, we have Smichas Chachamim, that Yifrach Bedoro, each rabbi in his generation, like Yiftach Bedoro, like the rabbis of the other generation. So the question, how does it work? How would we attack the problem today of what's going on with us in Israel? So Rav Shach came along and he gave a solution. He had a very beautiful solution. His solution was, listen, don't think it's only today in a prat. This has been going on for years in the cloud. The Jews have been persecuted for all these times. And every time there's a war, we go through the same story. Persecution is the same problem. We're always living in a danger. Let's say, how does a Jew approach war? How does he approach what's happening? So we have a very simple formula, Shach said. What do we say? First of all, we are Jews. And we have to, I mentioned on Shabbos, we have to announce and recognize and give glory to God, even to the degree of death. So then what's the problem of a war? You do what you got to do. You learn your Torah, even the price of death, and you go forward. And then when you're doing what you're doing, like Yitzchak went, and his father says you're going to be a sacrifice, you go happily. Yitzchak Yerana, and Yitzchak sings. No problem. We have a formula. Yeah, and all fears go out of the way. The question, what should you do? We have halacha. A man's not allowed to put himself in sakana. Different sakana is what it has to be. The man has to protect himself. What he has to do. That's the halacha. In Mesil Yisharim, Makam sakana, this and that. Now we have another rule. We know that Klal Yisrael, which is a klal, continues on. Klal will never be destroyed. If you hold that Eretz Yisrael is aschalta de gula, so nothing will happen here. If you hold that Eretz Yisrael gives a lot of tzedakahs to yeshivas, and the schus of tzedakah will protect them, well, so no problem. If you feel you learn Torah, and Torah is more Torah Lishma, good. So that's a protection. It follows the rule, whatever the rule is. If you say, how could it be they bring the Russians in, and this and that, and he should destroy what he builds, it's against the Svara? On the other hand, you say, listen, I look around and I see who's doing tshuva, more people doing more Torah. I mean, what's happening? People are relying upon solid, whatever you say, you say. We have rules and regulations how to handle it. In other words, you got to know it comes min hashamayim. You got to do your mitzvahs, your tshuva, and you have to. One way you have to ask Hashem for rachmim. The other hand, you have to say Shema Yigrom Achet. And the other hand, you have to assume that things will be better. Right. On the other hand, you have to worry about in the physical. Maybe you can't put. If you have rubbish, you don't go into water. Or if you don't have rubbish, you don't walk into puddles. You got to in the physical way. You can say, and that's will happen. You don't rely on Nisim. So we have the formulas how to handle what we do. It's a din in Kol HaTorah all the time. It's not special. Only we're living through it. That's all. We're living it. We're living it. Should you go to a room with wear your guest and not wear? Some rabbis say you don't. I went to tell Yeshiva. He said clearly that each one, nobody can tell anybody what to do. Some people hold they have a lot of bitachon. Yeah. If you feel. What you do, you of course. Simple svar I held. I said this. I want to tape the rabbin. I held that simply you got to wear your mask. Why? Because since basically, to us who believe that there's such thing as kedusha, holiness, every mitzvah has nitzchias, has eternity. Every mitzvah has eternity. Everything due spiritually will live forever. We believe in forever. But the guys who don't believe in forever. And by anyway, I'll never be the Talmud Chacham, and I'll never get to Olam Haba. It's better to die. It's better all these terrible things. See, he's a depressed, down person. I'm no good anyway. I'm a sinner anyway, and therefore I don't believe the Jews are Maminim b'nei Maminim. I don't believe in myself. I can be a Talmud Chacham, so I might as well, you know what I mean, death and has a death wish anyway. I might as well what he does. So they act in their way, whatever they do. But we who believe in Nitzchias, we believe that a guy can do a mitzvah forever, eternity. We believe there's kedushas. We believe in Olam Haba. So we know the price of every Jew. Saving one Jew is like saving the world. One Jew, God created the whole world from one person. That refers to me. And everybody says me. That's the only place you can say me too. Me too. Okay, wonderful. So if that's the case, then you're very precious and holy. Imagine you have the most precious thing in the world, the diamonds or loads of money or whatever you want to say has value. Will you take any chances with it? Would you take any chances with it? No way. No way. Even 1 out of 100, you're not going to take a chance. You won't say Rosh, Shmov, you won't say that. Look, I need insurance, I gotta have God, whatever you have, you do everything else. So therefore we can believe in it. We are a very precious person, make sure he doesn't take chances. And therefore, if there's a chance in 1,000, in a suffix like that, there may be gas and said, of course you're going. The second reason I said it's good to train yourself. The third thing, you shouldn't be parishment at Tzibur. Who knows why Hashem makes us go through this targil of putting on the gas mask and going into the room, waking up that night. I mean, one good thought, I thought it was reasons. Teaching us reasons. To get out of the bed in the middle of the night and run to our shelter. And that's reasons. And remember what Weinstein Zechet Tzaddik Levracha. He says, and what was his special quality learned in Yeshiva of Keller? They would get up in the middle of the night. We did it in Yeshiva. We got to do it again. Middle of the night, they get up. You ring the buzzer, bzz, everybody runs in, and you learn for 5 minutes, and you're all back to sleep. Because to get up, you can get up, but to go back to sleep again, that's hard. Sometimes you get up, and you're up, you can't go back to sleep. You go back to sleep again, that's already... You maybe learn Zrizas, or Kal V'chomer Madach, for a little, who knows, who's saying I get up. Kal V'chomer, a little, who knows a suffix, and when I get up, Kal V'chomer, I should get up for learning Torah, Torah at night, who knows? Well, maybe you get your family together, you have more Shalom Bayis, who knows, 50 things. Maybe it's good training, Mechlal. I don't know. Who knows what things? That's time it means how it helped. Those we don't know. But who knows why? We don't know. I do it. I asked Gershon, I don't know if he did it, maybe he did it, to make up a game, or let's write a little pamphlet. A pamphlet of how does a religious person of the Yeshiva at this time, how does he explain to his children to handle fear of the war? They answer, we talk about it. So what do we tell our children? And we say, what do we tell ourselves? What are we supposed to do? You know, we also worry about it. We believe it's Mashiach time. What do? Make sure we eat shalashudas, malav malka. We have all these things, you know. We have all these type of things we do. Segulas that we have. We go out of our way for a lot of segulas. So I say, maybe by tomorrow I get a little pieces of paper and so we'll write it out. English is better for me to read, harder in Hebrew. But what would we say? What do we say to our kids? A little pamphlet to kids about the war, how to handle the war. They're thinking about the war. What Torah thoughts should be in their head? How can we train them to have more emunah b'Hashem? How can we make it that it comes out of real positive experience? And then the same thing for us. We're the little child. How the little big child, or the big little child, whatever you want to say, how should we get out of it and see the godless Hashem? What are we doing? What do we get out of it at this time? I just want to add one little thought here. When Moshe Rabbeinu, his time was up from the time God gave the gift of time to him to be in this world. The neshama did not want to leave the body. Why? Because he said, hey, this is the right place. I'm with a tzaddik. I'm with a Talmud Chacham. I'm with a Yirat Shamayim. So there's a good relationship between soul and body. Spiritual and physical, the right relationship was by Moshe Rabbeinu. Don't think this either a black or white. Either animal, gashmius or ruchnius. Either one. No way, that's not a Jewish way. The proper place is the proper relation of both together. Because that's how Hashem created man to become like. And I want to explain with that, the Shari, the Rambam, and Hilchos Tshuva, man should, how will I reach one to be like Moshe Rabbeinu? So I said, what's quality of Moshe Rabbeinu? Nevuah, ain't come ka Moshe. Chachma, you know all the Torah Kula. And they forgot it. So I said, maybe. To do the most you can? I don't know most you can. There's no end to do the most you can. Hilas machayev daniyim, and there's no end to what you can do. It says maybe in the relationship, I would say, maybe with the soul and the body together, that you get that right synthesis, and that can be done. That's a possibility. Anyway, we're living these times. We have to make sure that we gain through this experience. And our children gain from this experience. To come out heroes, more believing in Hashem and knowing that we're okay. But not a dream world that the Mashiach's coming, no problem. And everybody tells you the time is going to come. So they said, according to the Goyin, he's going to come at this date. So I said, that can't be. Why can't it be? He says, Ani ma'amin b'emunah shleima, but Rambam said, "V'chol yom ha'chag she'yavo." According to Manat, that can't be. It'll be in that day. So today it's not going to be. I can do my things today, and it'll come tomorrow. So we see, according to Rambam, it can't be. It can't be. I got a ched. We don't know. We don't know. We have to wait every day for the Mashiach to come. It's a possibility to come. And therefore, it's our job to do what we got to do. If I'll think, according to the terms what Mashiach's supposed to be, I don't know, according to the peace plans that are coming up, I don't see that dream so quick. I don't see that dream so quick. What? Okay. I agree. But it's not a question of somebody coming over and standing on the top of the, with a helicopter on top of the base on Migdash up there and say, listen, I'm fulfilling the prophecy in the Yalkut Shmoni of this and that. That's not it. There's certain things that have to happen. It's not a game. But we believe he's going to come every day, and every war has a possibility. It's our job to do the tshuva and have bitachon and emunah. I just want to add one more word. Rav Gorin got up and he made a public statement that those who are living in Tel Aviv have a right to run away. Does the Mokum Sakon? Well, Jews don't put themselves in Sakon. Now, I don't know why he said it. It's not a popular thought. No, I understand it from my point of view. Why? Because I would say that, look. Yes, Joe. I can talk about it too much. There's a whole story here. You see? There's a whole idea here. I only said a little Rashi Prokim. If you believe in the Vilna Gaon's Cheshbon, there's a schal to the Gula here, and Klal Yisrael has to live, and therefore it's the right thing to be here, and it's going to be successful here, and therefore the Klal Yisrael will continue and grow. So it goes, it cannot go on. Kedusha goes up, doesn't go down. If some individual will be, you'll see Magepa of more car accidents, let's say. You know about car accidents happening. And there's a certain rule that if so many people die in a city, the Gemara Masechta Tainus, and certain people, then you have to cry and pray. So you have rules and regulations. So now, I just want to mention one thing on record. Nobody died from a Scud missile. No side effect. Nobody. They may have heart attacks from the threat. They may have from the Patriot, a guy got killed there, or something, but not directly. Maybe the house fell down, the house was a goyim, and that, but nobody directly was killed by a Scud missile. I think so. And even our Gorin said, you know what I did when I was in the war down with Egypt there, and a Scud went by. He took his rifle out and he shot 1,000 feet away, and his bullet hit the tip of the Scud and it blew up, and it didn't even affect him. He knows about Scud. What a story! I thought he was. I don't want to mention it. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I think that's why I got on the air just to say that one story. What? You need a gun. A gun. Anyway, but I just want to mention, I don't know about Scud, but I do know one thing, that we are living in historical times. Thank God we're in Eretz Yisrael learning Torah. We've got to keep it up. We've got to get that positive feeling that we have Ma'amina, B'nai Ma'amina, we have to do mitzvahs and get the Kedusha. We've got to put all our koyach into the mitzvahs and the learning. And that source itself will help us get all the Mabel. Wrong conclusion. You want to use the Torah as a cardinal lock where you're going to live and things are going to go. No. Again, Torah means that you'll do the mitzvahs and you'll then get olam haba, and that's what you're supposed to do. What Hashem wants to do, you're a Jew and you're ready to stand up for Hashem no matter what. And make a kiddush. What's the kiddush I'm doing? The mitzvahs, learning Torah, davening. And if he wants what he does what he wants to do. or we're equal, whatever it is, whatever Mesiras Nefesh is needed, we have to do, because that's part of the mitzvah, that's part of the Torah. That's all. Okay. Yes. And then he didn't make a good house. Or you can go into his place of protection.
I would say statistically that less people are killed because they're at home than running around dying in the road accidents. They
probably Marbim be Torah, because ain simcha ella Torah, right? Right. Mishenichnas adar marbim what Yisrael the Torah, but ain simcha ella Torah, right? How do we know simcha's Torah? Pekudi Hashem Yeshorim Mesamche Lei. The words of the Torah make your heart happy. So if you want to be happy in order, what do you got to do? Learn what Torah. Because now it's not the winter anymore, it's the spring. The wind a little bit gone away. And now you have more opportunity. Not thinking now you're going to run away to America, or who knows where, for Pesach, who knows going to be. It's the winter, Purim's coming, it's the end. No. If you really love Torah, and you want to get Simcha, you got to learn Torah. And you have to be self-propelled. You yourself want to learn because you want to learn. You learn Lishma because you want to do it. Not because you're forced. That's what the Chafetz Chaim Yeshiva had different than other yeshivas. Lakewood Yeshiva, they learned a lot. And other yeshivas, they learned a lot. Then we made a survey. After the boys got smicha, after the boys learned in the Kollel, how many boys of Lakewood continue learning? And how many guys of Chafetz Chaim Yeshiva, where they didn't force a guy, and they had it, the love of learning came from the individuality and themselves, continue learning after they left the yeshiva? We made a survey. Okay, you want to say the best survey. But, you know, I mean, today with public, you know, we ask people who went around. I mean, you can't say everybody, we can go to everybody. Right? Well, we made a selection, and we find out that 95% of those guys don't learn. Also, I went to survey those who graduated Yitzhak Chanan. In my days, these guys said, look, I'm going to go into business and then learn Torah, and what I'll do, and then I'll be able to make a good living. I'll be a professor at university and who knows what. And then I'll have more time to learn. I won't have all of Parnasa, which my father had, my uncle had, my grandfather had, all of Parnasa. I'll be able to make a good living, a professional living. I'll have to run around. I'll make a good living. And I'll have time to learn Torah. Okay, good. So we made a survey. In Boston, 150 rabbis. How many boys, after Smicha, all have good professional jobs, as professor university, doctors, lawyers, etc. How many guys there learn? So we made a survey, I tell you. 2 guys, a shiur on telephone, they used to learn privately. And then once a week they would, maybe 15 guys would hear the shiur to Rav. That was the whole thing. And on Shabbos, they would go to the Rav shiur in the shul, that 1 hour between Mincha and Mara. That was the whole learning of 150 guys. After Smichas Chachamim, and I wouldn't say, but the Ruba said, the reason why they go to Parnasa, want to be doctors, lawyers, whatever it is, professional, and that's it. Okay, that's this. It's not so simple. In Chafetz Chaim, I would say maybe 75, 80% of the guys after they got Smicha continue learning. Because something you do on your own, with how little it is, we made another survey. How many boys in Lakewood Yeshiva became Rosh Yeshivas? And what factor do we see there? And also tells Yeshiva. And we made another Yeshiva. How to become Rosh Yeshivas or Magidei Shurim. And what quality do we think is the factor that did it? So the survey came up to those people, in the time they were in the Yeshiva, the Atels, Lakewood, and other Yeshiva, that in the lunch break, they came to the Beis Medrash and they learned an extra 10, 15 minutes, or they chazed the shiur of the Rosh Yeshiva. From those group of people, the percentage was they became Rosh Yeshivas or Magidei Shurim. majority. What's the more than about 80%? In other words, when those people who were self-motivated, that they wanted to learn even beyond the hours of the Siddharm quote, the 9 to 1, or the 3 to 5, or 3 to 7, and the night, those who stayed the extra few moments were the ones who became the Rosh Yeshivas in the areas where they were the ones that, yes. That's a good question. I will never know. But I will answer that the Torah, this is my line of musar. I came here to teach Gemara. I didn't come. That once the Torah tells you you're Magala the Sod, right? And the Torah basically tries to encourage people to be self-motivated. I mean, that's what we're talking about, that Hillel is Machayev this, and the self-motivation is an important quality. There's anybody in the halach is, even if an old or young, sick or healthy, has to learn Torah, there's a chiyuv. And so I would say it makes no difference. It could be the ones that did it, but do naturally do it. And the ones who do kindness and chesed are the kind people. That could be. But those that will, we didn't make the survey, were they self-motivated before, or they had dreams to be Rosh Yeshivas before they came in, or what was there? We didn't make that further. We didn't go that far. But I will say, it makes no difference to me. I have to learn, as an educated man, to learn in the system that if you have a will, and you have the Ratzon Hashem means to be self-motivated, you have to do it. So those who are educated take that principle, and no matter what background they have, and that's what I try to explain the other days in the Musar, no matter what background you have, you say, listen, Rabbi, I'm a failure to start with. I'm a zero. I am this quality. I am that quality. Whatever the quality may be. We say, at 13, junk all those sociological, psychological, and philosophical problems, and every Jew is obligated to keep up to a certain standard. Now, how do you get to the standard? You got to work. And God will reward you for effort, for good work, and you're working hard. Even if every day you work and you fail, you work and you fail, you start again every day new. But eventually, we have the rule that Hashem will reward you, or help you, or will make nisim for you. It doesn't mean if you try, you'll succeed. But it does mean that I claim that you're gatu matzas. If you work, you will find. God will open the door and make a miracle. And I have a Kabbalah from Scheinberg and other people that you sit and learn. I didn't have a chavrusa. So I said to Rabbi Scheinberg, where's my chavrusa? He says, Mordechai, he has a Kabbalah that if you sit and learn, the chavrusa will come. I said, come on. I looked around the yeshiva. I said, everybody's taken. Nobody's going to take me. What do you mean? If you learn the chavrusa, where's it going to come from? I added up the amount of boys. I saw everybody has a chavrusa. And I said, come on. Okay, America said, look, that's his Kabbalah. You'll do it. Have a munas chachomim. So I sat down and I learned. And sure enough, bingo, with a chavrusa came. One of the other guys had a little conflict there, etc. And sure enough, a chavrusa came to me. He's today, and then, I don't want to say, he's a conservative rabbi today. Doing quite well. He sends me $1,000 a year. Okay, but I'll tell you one thing. Hashem sent me a chavrusa. He came for religious. He had payas, and came for a real choshev, Hasidic family with payas. And what? I will answer you, yes, but I will answer you. You see, it depends also who you marry. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? I hate to tell you the story, but depends who you marry, you know? And if you go for love, and you love the girl and all that stuff, it's nice, sentimental, romantic, and important, but at the end, it's either the love of God or the love of the woman, and he makes a combination deal, and he got smicha from a good yeshiva. I don't want to say where. Not the Chofetz Chaim. He got smicha from another place. I don't want to mention where he's smicha. And then off he went to He built Yiddishkeit. He has a community. I would say that he's still from. I would say, no, he's a religious man, but he's on conservative shul, and whatever that means, I don't want to say. And he has lecture programs, and he really helped the community, and he saw in his community should be a Shomer Shabbos baker, so he has to have a bakery shop, and he made sure in his community there's a school. I mean, his kids got a school. But then I look at his kids already. His kids are, where are his kids today? Check it out. Wait, 30 years. His kids, no, they're from guys, but they're all working guys. Not one of his kids are totally in Torah. Okay, you inherit Yisrael, 3 of his kids, and they have Klal Yisrael, and they're religious, so to speak, and they went to the best schools, you know what I mean? But you check out. You wait the years to go by and check. Do you want to see God's justice in the world? Just wait and see the years. I say this to you, Joe. You get the kids up to the minyan, looks cruel, those little kids. But at the end, you'll see. They'll go to a minyan when they get older. If you don't beat them too hard, but if you give them little rewards, they will at the end be religious. And somehow they don't know why they got to go to the minyan. When they go to the minyan, where else they're going to go if not to the minyan? Somehow it's trained. Like you're learning. You don't know why the heck you're learning, but somehow you're there learning. Those who come from religious homes, for some reason, you don't know what the heck happened. You don't even know why or why you do what you do. But anyway, that's what it's about. And let's go forward. I didn't want to start. I don't know how we got into this topic. I saw Torah, because I was really talking to some boys here, they see the beautiful, it's very nice weather, and I said, I'm going to give a shiur until I had to get in the flock from the outside inside. Took a little more like, fishing with a hook to pull them in, who knows. And the reason, and they're right, I mean, young people, they got to see the scenery and they got to relax, and it's getting warmer, so, and it's Adar Simcha, so, but the real Simcha is Torah. And we got to get that Simcha Torah, we got to get that Hanoah in the Torah, we got to get the energy in it, and we got to push to finish this piece that I want to do it. It's a little late now. I want to talk about the musar word. We'll do it tomorrow. You read. Do Parshas Truma first. What? Be the rods. They should not be taken from it. So the Ralbag explains, what do you mean should not be taken from it? This was intended to show the totality of the Torah, which was kept inside the Aron. Just as the ark was complete and ready to use without any additional, in other words, was used in the sense of having the rods ready to move, so too the Torah is comprehensive and lacking any detail. I gotta read. Just as the ark was complete, ready to use without any additional help, so to the Torah, and it's coming and not lacking any additional help. I know what that means, because we need a Torah Shebal Peh. And what's the Torah? I would translate the Torah is ready for use. Doesn't need anything Torah plus. Doesn't need in other words, the Torah is complete on its own, ready for use. It's not Torah plus anything. I need Torah Shabbat. That means that's as it is, it's a complete unit. Or ready to be used. I couldn't find the Ralbag inside. So if I ask you, what do you learn from this? So I would say that if the ark represents Torah and ready to be used, so I would say, how could you not have the rods in it all the time? Was if my concept of Torah is that it's always ready to be used, that's my concept, and it's always comprehensive. And so I would say, if I believed in that concept, how can I not have the rods there all the time? In other words, if the rods are there all the time to tell me this, so I would say, wow, now that I know that fact, could I have an ark without rods ready all the time? Of course I have the rods there ready all the time. That's teaching me that new factor. Or even if I knew the factor originally, I would say simply that, how can you have an ark without the rods? Because if I see the rods were missing, I would say, wow, the Torah's not ready for use all the time? I don't know if you agree with that or disagree with it. You have an ark and you have the rods in the ark. So you say, what does it come to teach us? Teach us X. Whatever X is. X would mean without it, I wouldn't know it. Comes X to teach me, this is what it is. But if the statement is, the Torah is comprehended not like any details, I knew that before anyway. But I think God gave us a Torah that has lack of detail. It's an impossibility, and I'll explain to you why. So I would then say is that, how could you not have, not to teach this to me, but if I didn't have it inside, then I would think the Torah is not comprehensive. That fact that the Torah is inside, I have it used all the time. Now, why would I have to say the Torah is all comprehensive and everything else? Why? Because if this is only one moment that the Almighty gives the Torah, and the Torah has to be for eternity, the Torah doesn't change by definition, all generations, all times, as given by God and revealed. So and it cannot be again a second coming, it's not going to be a second given. It has to be complete, totally, as it should be given. Never be added or subtracted. It has to be perfect what it is, and can never be changed and used for all times. That's what Har Sinai means. If that's true, then I know that from philosophy. So why is it? And I say, how could it not be that way? Of course we learn it can't be. Ready to be used any time. That's what it tells us. But not that without it, I would say it's lacking. Since I knew this concept before, how else can it be without having the rods in it? Okay, now he proceeds. Didn't the children of Israel already appreciate the all-encompassing breadth of the Torah? Didn't they know it already? And appreciate it and know it? If not, they wouldn't know it. How would this mitzvah spell the difference? How would it tell us? How would it tell us? You see how it's not ready. It's just stuck in a box. It can't move. So the rods would tell me it's not only all-encompassing, but it's ready to be used without anything additional. Whatever that means. Obviously, B'nai Torah intellectually understood that the Torah is complete and directs us to the proper path of all life's decisions. They knew this already. How'd they know that? They knew it already. So then that's my point. If they knew that already, so how can you not have a ark that's not all-encompassing or ready to move? How can you say it in mind and in practice, and when it comes to reality handling the Torah, it's not done that way? So they answer the other way around. Since we knew it, so what is it telling us for? We knew it already, so why did you have to tell it? But perhaps they were slightly wanting in understanding this fact on the deep emotional level. There's a seichel level, there's an emotional level, and therefore they had to see it. They knew it, but they had to see it. I said, if they knew it, how can you have it without it? Not that you need to see it. How can you be it? Knowing and seeing is equal. How can you not have it? How can you not have it? So by seeing the rods, always reminding they receive yet another lesson in the totality of the Torah. What other lesson? An emotional lesson. Was it another lesson or an emotional lesson? That doesn't write clearly. This extra and possible very small lesson. What kind of lesson? If it was extra, so they had to know it. If they had to know it, so it was different. It was different. So it's a special thing they're telling us. LMI, it's the same. So then you can say emotional. And if it was known and no difference, so then, of course, you had to have it there. This extra and possible very small lesson helped them reach a more perfect understanding. What perfect understanding? They understand emotionally, but not more perfect. What's perfect understanding? The dimension in the sense of emotional. What was it? It doesn't say what the factor was. What are you laughing behind? What? Now, the problem is conclusions. There are three lessons to be learned from the word. Firstly, there are many that we know and understand quite well, yet need extra reinforcement. That was his premise when he shoved it in. That he had a kasha, so Teretz is there's a chilik between understanding and seichel and understanding. So he can't prove it from here. That was the premise that he had, that he shoved in to make the chilik, but not that the thing made the chilik. Secondly, we must use any method possible to extend our understanding in these areas of knowledge. When they extend any, I possibly explain our understanding. Maybe this is the only way, not any possible way. First of all, how you know any possible way? Maybe this is the only possible way. In other words, when it comes to the own here, what about extending it any way we have to extend it and understand it? Let's make charades and let's make games and let's write puzzles and then do computer games. I don't know. Right, Chaim? Computer games. Well, add another dimension to it. We got to do it. It's a chiyuv. Yeah, it doesn't mean that. This method I had to do it. Even if he's right, but why do you have to do it? I mean, I claim because I can't have an or unless you do it. It's not expanding idea. It's a siba mafsedes that you can't have an or. Now he gets to the third one. Finally, recognize that comprehension of the Torah is a responsibility and demands extreme attention. And this also is a fallacious thing. Anything the Torah tells us, of course, by definition, means you should know about it. It doesn't mean extra attention. It means you should know about it. Anything the Torah says you have to know about it. Says you have to know. And we knew about this before anyway. So what do we gain for the knowledge before the knowledge now? It doesn't add up. It's interesting, but... Now we have to the last part. The Torah is not merely a law book detailing religious practice. The Torah is a blueprint Hashem used to create us and the guidebook He intended us to use during our stay in this world. Within the Torah, we can find the solutions to every problem, answer every question. So, where do you know that stuff? And we find, first of all, it's not really true. Although we hope does it solve the mathematical problems and the airplanes and the bombs and what's going to be. So you say, yeah, those people extend hope. So show me how and where and what. I mean, that's begging the issue. How do we know that? Where does it say that? The Torah, whatever the Torah represents, the Torah talks about Kedusha, Sam Yisrael, and it talks about spirituality, it talks about the Neshama, it talks about Olam Haba, it talks about Mitzvah. So that's, of course, complete, but it talks about everything. That's the first part. If you say it does, talk about everything. So then, so how do you know that? Not from here. Because you're carrying it with the things there for you can use. How do you know the Torah says everything? Whatever the Torah is, the Torah. So whatever you define as Torah before you start is what it is. It doesn't add more. You can say complete. Complete for what? Complete how? So you have to add it knows all. Where do you know it knows all and answers all questions? That's your concept of it. Because you said it before. You didn't have to say it now. It's again pushing your concept into the text before what it was. Okay, that's my quick thought here, which comes out of this really is when the Rosh Yeshiva said a word, Mistama, these guys who, Mistama talked for 20 minutes, and this takes only 3 minutes to read. So Mistama, there's places and pieces that were out, and therefore this is the wrong thing what the Rosh Yeshiva wanted to show in the world, that you have a chazal, and I think it has to be mukhrach. And every text has to give you a message, and a special and specific message, and it has to be mukhrach. And that's why, that's what Rosh Yeshiva's gain was, mukhrach. That's what I represent. Says what he said was not mukhrach. So it must be, he didn't say this when he said it, they didn't write it out straight, because he took 20 minutes to write it. So sometime when you come make it smaller, you left out a few pieces. Maybe with the pieces that he would bring down, we would agree also. I'm not going to say no. But the way he sets it up, this is not the logical on a straight piece. Yes, perhaps. Yeah. The Ramchal, he wants to say that Oznaim L'Torah is an addition.
So aren't they like the beams that you have to add afterwards to help carry it? So I would say that it's against that idea.
It's a hard concept. You got to know what's Bichlal Masai Mana. When Moshe Rabbeinu heard Rabbi Akiva add the Kutza Shel Yud, he fell down and was passed out. And then Rabbi Akiva said, hey, that I got from you, Moshe. You got from me? Okay, now where'd you get it from? He said, well, you taught I followed your rules, you know what I mean? So if you take Euclidean geometry and you take the rules and you press it to the end, it's really there, except the rules come later, but you may not have seen it all, but the basis is there. So is it there or not there? Was it consciously there or subconsciously? Was it included, not included? This is the old problem. I cannot solve that problem. You know what I mean? But again, it's not what he says. Yeah. Okay, you just stop talking about as a dimyon. Right. As a dimyon, as now we're up to the next piece.